Welcome back to another episode of Kapows Arcade Adventures. It has been a minute since I've released my last video. It's been a crazy summer, and for that matter, it's been a crazy year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. About a year ago, I decided to launch this site where I wanted to catalog and look at different arcades that I've had the opportunity to travel to kind of across the country. I'm pretty fortunate that my regular 9-to-5 Monday through Friday job allows me the opportunity to travel pretty frequently and to kind of keep myself out of trouble when I'm out on the road, as well as marry my interest in this hobby with my regular job. I decided why not use those opportunities when I'm out on travel to start looking at different arcades that were in the areas that I was going to. So I was able to get 3 videos shot before we went into lockdown in March of 2020. And for the duration of the year, I really didn't have an opportunity to get out and travel. So go figure. No sooner did I decide to start up an arcade tour channel than I wasn't able to do arcade tours. So this video is the first one I've had a chance to actually get out in quite some time and actually look at a really cool arcade. Now, a buddy of mine about 2 months ago had an opportunity to travel from Virginia on up to the Pittsburgh area of Pennsylvania. And along the way, we made a couple of stops and picked up 3 different games for his personal collection. Had a chance to visit some friends like Jason Kopp and others along the way. And on the way back, we decided, hey, we're here. Why don't we go and check out the Pennsylvania Coin-Operated Gaming Hall of Fame and Museum, which is in Hopewell, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh. Now, if you're not familiar with the gaming museum, it was opened in 2015 inside of a 10,500 square foot facility that oddly enough used to be a former Dollar General store. And it's the creation of Ed Beeler and Chris Akin. It is a wonderful location. If you are into this hobby and you like to play pins or vids, they have over 400 plus actual arcade games on the floor, as well as more pins than I was able to count. Everything from EM pins to solid state on up to the modern day stuff that we actually see coming out. So it's a great location for you to be able to go to. You can spend an entire day there playing every type of game that you have in your mind that you would like to actually find out on location, whether you've played it in the past or it's something you've looked forward to playing in the future. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Hey guys, this is Kapow from Kapows Arcade Adventures. And today we're right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we're at the Pinball Game Room, or better known as the Pennsylvania Coin-Operated Gaming Hall of Fame and Museum. My buddy Troy, Gibbs and I are down here today. We actually came up yesterday. We were visiting with Jason Kopp. We picked up a couple of arcade games along the way, and on our way back we decided why not go ahead and come over here to Pennsylvania Pinball and check it out. So if without further ado, I'm just going to walk you guys inside and show you guys around. If you have not been here, this is a fantastic location. We've only been here a few minutes. We're going to spend about an hour at the arcade and then kind of head on back. So let's go on inside. So as soon as you kind of come in through the doors, they got the facility rules right here, pretty much typical standard, game rules when you come into any of these places. When you come in the front door, there's a reception desk on the inside. The location is billed as having over 400 classic arcade games and pinballs. We are lucky enough to be here early enough in the day that they've only been open for about half an hour at this point. So we've pretty much got the entire place to ourselves. One of the guys that works here, we were talking to him about how COVID had affected it. They did have some impact early on, but now that a lot of the restrictions have been lifted here in Pennsylvania, he said they're getting pretty close to being back up to where they were at. It is a pay-to-play location. They have admission rates that can go anywhere from a 2-hour play time to an all-day play time. We only did the 2-hour play time since we still got to drive back to Virginia today. But depending upon your schedule and when you get here, you can either play all day or play for just a couple of hours. They do sell some items, like there is a restored Black Knight that they've got here out front that's currently for sale. And then here in the case, when you come up on front, they sell like souvenir pieces, parts, pinball components that have come out of other machines that they're looking to kind of just get rid of so that you can say that you've been to Pinball PA, and then some other promotional items like flyers for games and things like that. When you first come on in after you've paid your fee, the way that everything is kind of broken up, as you walk around, and I'm just going to do a really quick tour for everyone. They've got some of the older, more unique items when you first come in. This is a Fire Chief from 1974, first game to ever use water. It's on display, not currently working. Then they've got a Target Zero that's here. And then as you kind of progress down the first row, and you guys will see just tons and tons of pinball machines, as far as you can see to the front to the back of the facility. It kind of starts out with more of the classic EM pins, down along this wall as you go along, some other ones on this side. And then as you progress through the collection, the games kind of go and they follow like a time period kind of theme. So as you progress from EM and then you get into solid state and, kind of so on and so forth as you go along. But fantastic destination. Most of the stuff we've seen as we've kind of walked around in here today, everything is working out here on the floor. Beautiful condition pinballs. The lighting is great inside. Tons of space to play. Not a whole lot in the way of like decor that they have actually up on the walls. They do have some stuff around the other edges, but it really is a location that you want to come to just to play games the way that they have it set up. And any kind of pinball you can think of, like stuff as we were walking around, Troy and I were kind of walking through, I was like, oh, I wonder if they have this pin or that pin. And sure enough, like 2 seconds later, as we kind of progressed into their collection, there was the pin or the vid that I was actually thinking about, wondering if they actually had it. Here's a Stern Sea Witch, actually one of the pins I actually like, down here on the end. They do have a bit of a party area here in the back that you can like do birthdays and things like that on. Large collection of marquees kind of displayed overhead that they've got. A couple of cabarets here in the back next to the bowling game that they've got. They've actually got a Jaws, over here. I actually love this black and white game. Fantastic. They have an anti-aircraft by Atari. A few cocktails in the back here. And then we'll kind of go around and, walk up this next row that they've got. Flash Gordon currently not working. I love the Grid. This is a fantastic game. If you guys have not played it, they don't have one, they don't have two, but they actually have three of them cooperatively tied together here in the back. Excellent game if you guys have never had a chance to play it. Then as you kind of go up this row, like thematically, they'll put games together, either by, type of game or by manufacturer as you kind of go along. Here's New York by Gottlieb, Reactor, personal favorite, Mad Planets. You've got two of the Q*berts, one with the alternating marquees that they have on them here. There's Troy down there, like kind of getting his game on. Superbug. Tasmania, there's one you don't see that often. Bagman, I'm gonna play that one later. Troy, say hi to the camera.
What's going on?
Commando, personal favorite. Karate Champ and kind of a converter cab, or a kit that was put in. I have a Karate Champ. I actually love this game. Never seen one in this particular one. Here's Venture. Mousetrap. Troy's got a Mousetrap, loves it. Astro Invader by Stern. One of the few games I've actually seen with the monitor kind of going crazy in here. Death Race. I just played this for the first time up at Fun Spot with Troy and Northeast Mike and Brian and Jeff a couple of weeks ago. Really fun game. Love the scream when you run people over in it. Space Odyssey, unfortunately, is down. Eliminator. We played Eliminator yesterday at Jason Kopp's house. Circus Charlie. Jeff, this is for you, buddy. Really nice condition Circus Charlie. Control panels in beautiful shape. Monitors nice and bright. Gyrus. Here you go. We got a Warp in the house. Dell, this is for you. We got a Sega Outrun. You're the king of Outrun. And then here's some of the Universal games. We actually picked up a Cosmic Alien yesterday for Troy's collection.
This one's pretty nice as well. Yeah, I love the universal art. These, when they are all lit up and everything's working and you look at the games, to me, especially if you've been to Fun Spot, that hallway that you walk through when you see them, like these aren't just games, these are true works of art, the way these are all put together. Got Mr. Do, Frontline. There you go, Buck Rogers, Planet of Zoom. Another one for Dell. You got Shinobi, personal favorite of his. So then these are all title games that they've kind of got together over here. You know, Zookeeper, everyone's favorite. Not the right joystick on there. Elevator Action. I'm currently in the process of restoring my elevator action at home. This is, it looks like it was probably a Kicks cab. Pulsar. Astro Fighter Moon Crester, Space Firebird. I've never actually seen this in person. And then we'll kind of continue on. Bubble Check's in the house. And then we kind of head on down this row. So a lot of the Williams games that they have, Defender, Bubbles, Robotron, Joust. Joust 2, I did not play this when I was at Fun Spot. I'm definitely going to play it today. Then over here, we've got the Mach 3 cockpit right next to a Star Wars cockpit. Make Tracks, Demolition Derby, pretty cool to see this here. Right next to Domino Man, that's not working, unfortunately. And then you've got a huge cockpit section. They got Pole, Fire Truck, personal favorite. The Taito Landing High Japan, if you want to crash a 737. Nice Spy Hunter cockpit. Discs of Tron, environmental discs of Tron. And then if you've never had a chance to play a Missile Command cockpit, and you want to surround yourself in what $10,000 feels like, I played it for the first time today. Really, really cool cockpit game. The sound inside of it, when you compare it to like that of a normal Missile Command, very, very cool. And then right next to that one, we've got an Omega Race cockpit, and then a Sinistar cockpit. And we'll head on back down the row with the Midway Games. They do have a gapless, original gapless in here. Again, Dell, if you're watching this, it's running the Galaga 3 board set in it. Wacko. It's only I know this is a popular game amongst some and not so much amongst other. Some of the Brian Colin games that they've actually got all stacked up together. You've got Pigskin, Arch Rivals, and Rampage. Troy is planning on doing something very similar in his arcade at home with all three games. Tron, very nice condition Tron. The front plate's a little washed out. Solar Fox, awesome, very, very cool cab. Journey, actually have a working Journey out here on the floor. Tournament Cyberball, really fun game. Kickman, Tapper, Timber. Star Rider, I've actually never seen this one in person before. Mappy, Satan's Hollow, Baby Pack, whole pack section of pack games. Baby Pack, Super Pack, Pack Plus, Reunion Cab, Pac-Man, and Miss Pac-Man. Robbie Roto, very, very cool game. And then they have an Outrunners back here. Another first that I've never seen before is the player against player joust tabletop pinball. And then as we head up the next row, we've got Ice Cold Beer, Battle Zone, all the vectors, Space Duel, Gravitar, Black Widow, Lunar Lander, Asteroids. This side we have a Wizard of War, Asteroids Deluxe to continue with their vector theme. And then we start getting into an entire row of shooter games. Cheyenne, Blue Shark, never played that before. Black and white, where you shoot the shark trying to get in the divers. I'm just gonna back up for a second, man. The Sinistar cockpit is just so cool. Valley's Midnight Marauders, Xenophobe, everybody's personal favorite, Food Fight. And then we get into some of the other Atari games that they have up here in their Atari row. A lot of the typical standards. They do have a really nice condition Crystal Castles that they have over here. You gotta love that pulsing ball on it. One of my favorites that I'm currently working on my own restoration of. I have a Cloak and Dagger I'm trying to put together. This one's an actual Agent X that they have. Same profile, if you guys are not familiar with it, as the Crystal Castles cabinet. Really, really cool. I mean, Atari's my personal favorite manufacturer. I love the big red Atari logo that they have right on there. Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. You know, those of you guys that have seen my personal collection at home, you know that my arcade is completely themed around Star Wars. I still at some point want to add the ESB kit to my Star Wars. I just have not gotten around to it yet. And then in the same theme of Star Wars, there's a very nice Star Wars cockpit with the Amplifone monitor in it. And then we get into the Nintendo row. This is pretty cool to see, the Donkey Kong remix here. Blacked out cab, very cool control panel. And then the purple Donkey Kong cab over here as well. Fun Spot had one as well. It drove Northeast Mike nuts that they had it in the collection. Then we start getting back into some of the other pins down here. I love the Superman and Amazing Spider-Man pin. Fix It Felix, Breakout, Super Breakout, another Missile Command, Zybots, Tempest, Major Havoc and a Tempest conversion cab, Paperboy APB, Stunt Cycle. Again, lots of favorites. And then after that, in this particular row, then you start to get into some of their Laserdisc games. The always horrible, but yet fun to play, Us versus Them, Galaxy Ranger, Space Ace, Dragon's Lair, Atari Firefox, and one of my other favorites, Cliffhanger. Fantastic game. This is definitely something I did not see when we went up to Fun Spot, or some of the more older style things like, Combat, Sonic Fighter, Sammy. Definitely going to spend some time over in this row playing these games later on. Video Pinball, one of my absolute favorite games. Two-player Warlords. Atari Force Liberator. There you go, Jeff. You're not the only one with one. You are, Cassandra. Atari Skyraider. This is a fantastic, very cool, like wannabe River Raid kind of thing. Looking forward to playing this one in a little bit. Atari Destroyer. We actually played this up at Fun Spot. It's sort of similar to Depth Charge. If anybody's been able to play Depth Charge out there, I actually like Depth Charge better. I don't like the feature of the game where you have to actually set the depth of your charge before you drop it. Still a fun game to play. Atari Knight Rider. Escape from the Planet of Robot Monsters. Another really unique game to kind of see out on the floor. Atari Skull and Crossbones. I've never even seen this before. Roadrunner Marble Madness. I have my own Marble Madness. I love this game. And then you got Gauntlet here at the end of this row. Another nice feature in the back is they have a small row of cabaret games here. And then a lot of the neat wall art that they've got. They actually have a Space Paranoids poster from the Tron, the original movie, up here. I would love to actually have that. And then the regular Tron poster that's actually displayed, as well as a lot of the other 80s kind of memorabilia. And then as you head back up the opposite row, we start to get into some of the more modern style, like late to mid 80s pinballs. I love Black Hole. I love the lower play field on this particular pin. A lot of fun to play. Earthshaker. I'm going to be moving one of these with Troy in the very near future. Strange Science, Mousing Around, Party Animals, Black Belt. Just tons and tons of pins. I mean, you can play pinball to your heart's content. It's billed as Pennsylvania Pinball, but it's really a disservice almost in the name, because they've got just as many classic arcade games as they do pinballs. They got a few others up here, just ones that are actually for sale in different types of condition. They've got a couple of display cases, if you guys can see it, with some of the more classic systems, and Television 2, the ColecoVision, Atari 2600, really just as a memorabilia kind of nod. You know, some more Pac-Man memorabilia, some of the tabletop things that are out there. You always got to have a Rubik's Cube in your collection. They have a original Pong not working, Space Invaders, and a Miss Pac-Man turnaround. These pins that they have are really just more for museum pieces to kind of show like what an electromechanical pinball machine was versus as you kind of get into the more solid state games. And they give a very good description to people that may be interested in it. So these are not really playable pins. They're more designed just to kind of show the evolution of pinball machines, and then you actually get into the collection that you're allowed to play. So then as you progress kind of down this row, this is really where all of their modern pins are, with most of the modern stuff towards the back of the arcade, like Black Knight Swords of Rage, Tron, and we'll kind of get down there. But my personal favorite in the arcade that they have is the Data East Star Wars, which I will come back to play here shortly. Simpsons, another great pin. Swords of Fury, No Fear. F-14 Tomcat, Space Shuttle specifically for that Tim guy. You know, Timmy, I'll send you some pictures later. Fireball for Steve Ontiveros, who's the owner of the Fireball Arcade in Front Royal, Virginia. Bugs Bunny Birthday Ball. Nitro Ground Shaker. We had this. It was on loan at the Fireball Arcade in Front Royal, Virginia from Buffett. I loved playing it, and I'm definitely going to touch on this one a little bit later. Blackout, very cool pin. Black Knight 2000. So they actually have all three here in the arcade kind of spread out. They have a Black Knight 2000, and Black Knight Swords of Rage in the back. Plan on playing Black Rose before we leave. Very cool pin, neat playfield. Fishtails with the topper on it. Nice condition Disco Fever. The one we have down at Front Royal at the arcade, our back glass has a lot of flaking on it, so it's pretty neat to kind of see this one in this condition. Judge Dredd with the topper, there you go, Brian. Medieval Madness. Here's the Black Knight. So, you know, we had Black Knight 2000 a little bit further up. They have a Black Knight that's been restored for sale in the front of the arcade. And then as we get here towards the back, you've got the regular Black Knight out on the play field, or on the play floor. A couple of people in today. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Much larger pins. I definitely want to try to play Bonsai Run earlier. Very neat that it's got both the regular playfield and then the elevated playfield in the back. Big guns, always cool to play. And then just really the most modern stuff that they have in the collection, I would say, starts back here with Revenge from Mars, and then Ripley's Believe It or Not, Sopranos, Monster Bash, Scared Stiff with Elvira, Roadshow, Tron Legacy. I've already played, and I obviously stink at this one. Black Knight Swords of Rage, Iron Maiden, great one to play, and then the ridiculously large Atari Hercules, which when I was much younger was actually the very first pinball I played, and then Dungeons and Dragons over here on the end. So that was a very, very, very quick orientation of the arcade. I really hope you guys, if you have the time, to come on down to Pinball, Pennsylvania to check it out. Really, really neat location. And with that said, I think I'm gonna get to playing some games.